Reviews of books I haven't read in years.
61 Nails. This book has a distinction that actually a couple books have, because there were a couple of different times after college that I got on these kicks. I was like, you have to read good literature. You have a literature degree. You need to read literature. And there are a couple of different books that were the ones I picked up when I gave myself permission to stop doing that already and just read whatever the hell I wanted to. It's the story of a man in London who finds out that he's not actually 100% human. He's actually part fae. And with no intentions whatsoever of getting drawn into this, he ends up being drawn out of an incredibly overly normal, boring life into an adventure dealing with, like, I think the royalty of Fae, or like how the Fae interact with London. And there's this weird tax that actually does exist in London, this weird thing where the city of London, like, pays 61 iron nails to something. I don't remember all the details about it, but I remember hearing about it afterwards and going, oh, like, that book used that. That was real? But there's this weird tax set up that, like, is honestly has to do with, like, medieval, like, property laws. But nowadays it's just sort of one of those weird traditions that any country that lasts more than 50 years ends up with. But in this book, it's secretly hiding the fact that this is, like, a system set up to prevent the Fae from uprising and taking over all of London. But it's a fun little adventure book, and one of the weird things about it is it starts out with a middle-aged, like, dumpy, boring character who evolves into being a more traditional fantasy hero. He evolves into being young and hot, which is just not the way that usually works.